There's no room for losers. That's exactly what my brother said as he blocked the doorway that Christmas Eve. Behind him, the tree shimmered, my mother gripped her glass of wine, and my father wouldn't even meet my eyes. I stood there holding a bag full of gifts for their kids, presents I'd spent weeks picking out, while Jacob smirked like he'd finally scored his victory. I didn't shout. I didn't tear up. I just said, "You're right." That night, I made one quiet decision that froze every payment, still keeping his household afloat. By New Year's, it was him standing at my door. "Stay with me, and you'll understand everything about us." I used to adore Christmas, the lights, the cinnamon candles, the way snow softened even the harshest corners of our street. It used to be the one day I could pretend our family was whole. But that illusion cracked years ago, slowly, almost tenderly, like ice splintering underfoot right before it breaks. Growing up, I was the fixer. If a bill came due, I paid it. If someone needed a ride, I dropped everything. When Jacob and his wife, Kelly, fell behind on their mortgage, I sent money before they even asked. Back then, I told myself it was generosity. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe I just wanted to be the daughter who held the pieces together. My parents encouraged it. "You've always been the responsible one," my mother would say, smiling with something that looked like pride but felt more like relief. My father rarely spoke. He just passed Jacob another plate, another favor, another excuse. Over time, I stopped seeing how much I was giving away. Tuition? Paid. Utility bills? Covered. When Jacob lost yet another job, I wired cash without hesitation. I'd been thinking a lot about boundaries lately. How calm the word itself feels once you finally draw one. By noon that day, I'd packed all the Christmas presents into boxes and sealed them with tape. I didn't throw them out. I just wasn't ready to face them yet. Each ribbon and tag looked like evidence from a crime I'd committed against myself. Later that afternoon, Jacob texted, "You could have at least dropped the gifts off. The kids are waiting." I stared at his message for a long moment before typing a single word, "No." His reply came seconds later. "What's your problem?" My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but I didn't respond. Let him wonder. Let him finally feel what silence tastes like. That silence from Jacob didn't last long, 2 days at most. By the third morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, texts, voicemails. At first, they sounded concerned. "Hey, are you okay?" Then needy, "The rent's due. The kids need shoes." And finally, angry, "You're selfish. You've changed." I didn't reply to any of them. I just watched the notifications pile up, one on top of another, proof that my value to them had always been measured in money. When I left for work, the city was buried under fresh snow. It was beautiful in that aching kind of way, a reminder that even the coldest things can look pure when untouched. That night, I poured a glass of wine and sat on the couch with my laptop. The glow of the screen held years of history, every payment I'd ever made for Jacob and Kelly's family. I scrolled through the endless list: mortgage help, school donations, utility bills, camp fees. A familiar cocktail of pity and resentment rose in my throat. But this time, I didn't swallow it back. I printed everything. Then remember, I'm still family when the bills start showing up. His jaw tightened, but before he could reply, Kelly's voice sliced through the cold from the sidewalk. "Jacob, stop." He froze. She stood just a few feet away, coat half unzipped, her face pale under the streetlight. Behind her, the car idled softly. "Kelly, go home," he barked. She didn't move. "No," she said quietly. "We're done." He turned, startled. "What are you talking about?" Her eyes flicked toward me, then back to him. "I met with someone today," she said. "A lawyer." Jacob's face drained of color. "You what?" "I know what you've been doing," she said, her voice trembling but steady. "The gambling, the lies, the secret account." For once, he had no words. I stayed silent, just watching everything unravel. Kelly stepped closer, her voice breaking slightly but strong enough to stand on. "All those payments Jolie sent, the ones you said were for the kids?" "I saw the statements, Jacob. You blew them at casinos." He spun toward me, desperate. "You told her." I shook my head. "Didn't need to." Kelly reached into her bag, pulled out a folder, and held it up. "I did. And the lawyer has copies. You can't hide anymore. He lunged forward, but I stepped between them. Don't, I warned. My tone stayed even, but it carried enough force to stop him cold. He stared at me, chest heaving. You think you're better than me, he demanded. You think this makes you some kind of saint? I drew in a slow breath, the cold biting deep. No, I said. It makes me free. He laughed, short, cracked halfway through. You'll regret this, he spat. You'll see what happens when I'm gone. Kelly's voice was soft but unyielding. We already have. She's leaving you because of you. He opened his mouth to speak, but I cut him off. Listen closely. You used me. You lied. You called me a failure. Now you've lost everything. Your wife, your kids, your house, and that easy ride you took for granted. The only thing left for you is a decision. Stop or keep sinking. Silence filled the line, long, brittle, heavy, then a click. When I turned toward the window, the snow had stopped falling. The world outside looked still again, calm and untouched, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment. By the week's end, Kelly and the boys were gone. New state, new beginning. She sent a picture of the kids rolling snow into a lopsided snowman with a message beneath. Thank you for everything. I stared at that photo for a long while, smiling. For once, helping didn't feel like losing. It felt like quiet victory. Jacob never called again. But stories travel. He'd lost his job, missed payments on the house, crashed on a friend's couch until he was kicked out. Still blaming everyone but himself. I didn't celebrate. Didn't post, didn't brag. I just shut down our shared accounts, folded the last statement, and whispered to no one in particular, maybe losers are just people who finally stop paying for everyone else's mistakes. February drifted in, soft and gray. The holiday lights were gone, leaving the streets bare and honest again. Kelly and the kids had settled up north. She sent small updates, pictures of snowmen, uneven pancakes, scribbled art taped to fresh walls. Each message felt like proof that she could breathe again. Jacob, meanwhile, disappeared into the kind of silence that follows a storm. One day my mother called, voice sharp and guarded. You've made things hard for your brother, she said. He's not himself. I almost laughed. Maybe now he finally is. She didn't answer, just sighed and hung up. For the first time, the guilt didn't stick. I'd spent years mistaking self-sacrifice for love, letting them drain me dry because I thought that's what good daughters were supposed to do. But love isn't counted in dollars, and family isn't defined by who you keep rescuing. I started sleeping better. The air in my apartment felt lighter. The silence wasn't sharp anymore. On weekends, I'd pass the bakery my mother used to take us to. The cinnamon smell didn't ache now. It reminded me that sweetness can exist without obligation. A week later, a letter arrived from Kelly.